Yo, welcome to a replay analysis. And guys, this is a diamond level. Some diamond level action. And we got some Protoss versus Zerg here. We're going to be looking at the Protoss's perspective in PvZ. So let's see what he's doing. Also, this game's a bit longer, so we're gonna kind of like briefly breeze through his opening macro and see if anything plays a part in like details that could actually make his early game take a bit of a hit. So far, everything's fine. The only thing I didn't like about that was your gateway is probably like 2 seconds late, but not the end of the world. Not very, very minor. Overall, fine. Not a big deal. Okay, you got your Chrono Boost going up. Good shit. Properly chronoed. You're scouting Zerg. This is good so far. Really watching your production of probes. This is bad. Too early. Way too early on the probe. Unless you're gonna go double gateway, this is not correct. We'll see what you do. But if this is for Nexus, you want to send this probe here needs to rally out of the Nexus down to your fucking natural, so that wouldn't even be going down for another 8 seconds. But if it's double gateway, then that's different. That's fine. Okay, yeah, there we go. It's a mistake, obviously. So yeah, definitely use this probe. There you go. You just wasted like probably 2 turn-ins of mining there. So like 10 minerals has been wasted, but it is what it is. Not the end of the world. Here comes your Nexus. Get your core going now with that same probe. Stop making probes while you do that. Perfect. Your scouting is seeing hatch first with gas pool. Follow up. Nothing crazy. Everything looks standard. You honestly don't need to go back in again. I'm not going to lie. The only reason why you would ever want to go back in again at this point in time would be one of a couple reasons. Number one, if you want to harass his mineral line and be like, you can't mine your minerals properly. Like if you're that kind of a probe, kind of a player, sure, that's fucking annoying for Zerg. They got to keep spam right-clicking their mineral patches to not have their guys get all stupid. Or if you're not going to do an adept, if you are not going to do an adept follow-up to this, then leaving this here to scout the gas after 100 would be okay. But if you do make an adept out of your gateway and you run across the map with it, this is unnecessary. Because your adept can 100% get into the base and see the gas. It has no way of being denied. So it really depends on how you want to play it, but yeah. Okay, you got your second pylon going up. You got your gas starting to be saturated. Things look nice. Okay, your probe is chilling again outside. Your one probe's fucked up right there. I don't think you realize that, but yeah. There we go. You fucked up your rally point. Another probe's now fucked up. Hopefully you fix that fast, because that sucks. Uh-oh. So, let me tell you why that happened. And some players out there probably don't know why this happens. And you're like, what the fuck? Why is this happening? The reason why this is happening is because if you rally your Nexus onto a gas before the building is there, what'll happen is your probes will try to walk to the gas. Which is why they're literally sliding on the fucking assimilator and they're kind of pushing each other around and they're like gliding around the building because they're trying to find the gas. Like this building. They're not trying to go to the actual assimilator. They're trying to go to the Vespene geyser. So you have to right click once you build an assimilator on that for them to go, oh, I harvest gas. Not, I walk to assimilator. Or I walk to Vespene geyser. So make sure you right click that or else it will fuck it up. That's why that is happening. And they're literally fucking you. That's 3 probes. So like that's a big deal. This is adding up a lot now. You have a bunch of probes doing jack shit.
Your probes are under attack.
Okay, so you go Stalker. So I'm okay with you leaving the probe a little bit longer at his base because you just go Stalker anyways. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to critique your build a little bit. I actually would say, hear me out. Look at your gas right now, and look at your minerals, and look at your core. Your core is done. You have enough gas right now for a Stalker, and you have enough gas for a Stargate. What I'm sure. So, and you also just started your Stalker, so that's perfect timing for your Stalker. Okay, with what I'm about to tell you. What you should do if you want to go Stargate is build a Stargate. Honestly, like right now, but your gas is fucked up, so you're not affording it properly. So this would slow your initial gas down just a tad, because you're not mining this properly, and you have probes just fucking sitting there, unfortunately. But yeah, anyways, if you started your Stargate around like 215 to like 218, right around now, you could 100% go Stargate, and then make a Stalker or an Adept before Lings get in your base. 100% chance. And if you go Stargate first, all that does is it allows you to start using the Stargate to pressure faster or defend all ins if this guy decides to just never stop making Lings from now on and just go all in. Or like, let's just say you didn't realize there's a Roach Warren that he made like right fucking there or something, and he made it like really early when the Ratchery was done, and he's like, the head Roach Warren's almost done, and he's gonna make like Roachling all in or a Bane Nest or whatever the fuck. Doesn't really matter. It's really early. There's no way you're really gonna get all in right this second, right now. But all ins could start hitting you around like 330, 320, right around then. All in, like really aggressive all ins could really start hitting your base at that point in time if it's a natural expand kind of Zerg. So if you go Stargate first and then go Stalker, if your Stalker is going to be defensive anyways, it changes nothing about your Stalker, and it will still be out before Lings get there. But it will make your Stargate faster and allows you to either attack the Zerg faster with it, or clear out Overlords faster, supply block him earlier, or, you know, in case you're getting all in, have your Void Rays like kind of like flying around your base, maybe killing Banes or some shit if he's like super fucking all in your face. It's just better, literally, to make the Stargate first than it is to go Stalker and Warp Gate before that. Especially if you're not even doing a build that's like fixated on this. Like if you're gonna make the Stalker and then not touch it again, there's no point to prioritize the Stalker over the Stargate.
Your probes are under attack.
And like, watch, I bet you're not gonna make another unit. Probably won't. Your gateway's just chilling now. And I expect that's fine. I mean, I'm okay that it's chilling for a little bit here. Eventually, you'll probably want to make some Adepts to take your third or something. But you're saving resources now for your Stargate. And you're making probes and stuff. And it's just, I mean, the Stalker's sitting here for such a long time. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. You should definitely be going Stargate first before Stalker. It's so much better. That poor probe. Also, you made that second gateway really early. You made the second gateway at 255. I would say the only time you should ever make it that fast is if you want to try. I guess it's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna be okay with you making it this early, and the reason why I'm okay with you making it this early is because you're not making units out of the gateway, other than one Stalker. If, however, you were trying to make like 4 units out of that gateway or 5 units out of that gateway, and you were like chrono boosting it, like let's say you were making Adepts after the Stalker or something like that, that would kind of fuck you making being able to afford the gateway as well that early. If you were gonna go for more gateway units, you'd probably want to make that second gateway more closer to like 320 to like 325, like. Start it by like 320, like just a little bit before a potential all-in could come to your base, so that realistically it'll finish before it were to die or something. And the fact that you tucked it in the back is even better for the fact that if you made it late, it still probably would not die. Like it's very low chance that it'll die. And it's also really hard for Zerg to attack this really heavily if you have a fucking Void Ray hovering over the front or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I'm okay. If you take the gateway this fast, though, I'm okay with it if you just don't make gateway units, because you can easily afford it then, and it's whatever. You should probably make a little bit more adepts a little bit faster than you are, though. Honestly, out of your gate, because you're not able to expand properly now. If you want to, if you're trying to take a third base behind this, you really need adepts behind your stalker. At some point, maybe not immediately, but like within at least like 15 seconds or 10 seconds of the stalker finishing. See, like right what you're doing right now, you're taking a third base, and if I were to play against you as Zerg, I would be killing this probe for the next full 60 seconds, guaranteed. Your probe would never put a third down. And if it did put a third down, I would deny it and never let you put another one down again for like 60 seconds. And I could guarantee that would happen because you have nothing to cover it. Your voids are late, and you don't make adepts. So there's nothing stopping Zerg from just bopping your probe repeatedly. And a Zerg plays like this will get speed at 330. So he should totally be killing this right now. The fact that he's not, yeah, this guy just doesn't make lings or something. He doesn't scout. And it's not even like all in lings. We're talking literally like 16 lings and you're done. Like a quick run of 16 lings and that's it. Yeah, that's way too fucking late on your adepts. You should be making adepts. You should have 2 adepts already made out of that gateway before warp gate's even done. And then your second gateway should be finishing around. That's why I said you'd want to delay your gateway a little longer. You'd want to have your second gateway almost pairing up with like warp gate to a degree. Like if you make it around like 330 or rather, sorry, 320 and you started your, and it's a 46-second build time. And then let's say you started your warp gate just after you made your Stargate and your Stalker. And let's say you made your Stargate at like 218. You make your Stalker at 224 and you make your warp gate at 230. You could then say your it's 100 seconds of an upgrade for warp gate, and 100 seconds from 230 would be around 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So 230 plus 100 seconds is about 410, 4 minutes 10 seconds on the clock. And then if you make your fucking second gateway around like 320, this thing has a 46-second build time, and that would be finishing around 4 minutes and 6 seconds. So it'd be like a 410 warp gate and like a 406 gateway. That would be lining up way better. Like that's like a proper build. That's like an actual like legit build. Because you don't want to have a gateway that does nothing for a long time. If you're like, well, it's a wall. There's a little bit more to it than that. You can't just say it's a wall and then you don't, like your resources aren't monitored properly. Because again, like I said, you would be punished so fucking hard for not covering that probe if this guy knew what he was doing. 100% you would be. Yeah, and then when you play Zergs who do what they're doing, when you grow up higher and higher, you're going to be like, holy shit, okay, yeah, I have to cover my probe. Because these lings will kill me repeatedly and it never goes down.
Shall persevere.
So anyways, a little bit of a risky opener to your gameplay so far, but you got the point across. You're doing it because he's not punishing you. It's still working. Definitely should be killing both overlords. You should be killing this overlord here, and you should be killing this overlord over here. So you should be prioritizing that with your voids. So like, I know you're like, oh, Vibe, I want to defend my third though. And I'm okay with that as well. But realistically, the adepts should be able to defend your third with proper SimCity of like between pylon and nexus. This pylon's a little fucked up. You don't ever want to build the pylon on the edge of nexus like that. Jesus, can't fucking breathe. You don't ever want to build the pylon on the edge of the nexus like this. You want to build it more centralized, because when you have the pylon on the edge of nexus like that, there's a bigger gap that gets formed here because it's like a corner block, and now more lings can actually take more surface area on this side of the pylon. If your pylon was up like there though, you could actually tuck your adepts in a way where only one Zergling at a time could smack your adept. But this is definitely like 3 on the bottom here. It's really fucking open. So that's not an ideal situation for where you'd want to, how you'd want to SimCity that. You want to have it a little bit more lined up, not off the corner. And then yeah, your adept should be able to stall for you to actually kill overlords. Like your first Void Ray should have genuinely killed that overlord immediately, and then you could rotate over and defend your third or kill this overlord if you see it, whatever. Because the faster you kill this overlord, the less information you're giving Zerg. This Zerg, I'm gonna tell you something. If this Zerg sees that you're never actually utilizing these gateways, it just proves that you're actually going Stargate. And it's easier for Zerg to counter that. But if you blind Zerg, and Zerg doesn't get to see what you're doing with your doorway and your gateway production, like he doesn't get to see like that you're generally utilizing it, it's a little bit more confusing, and then Zerg has to make more of guesses as to what's going on. And then you actually make the Zerg play shittier because of that, because he's not going to have a perfect read all the time. And it also allows you to have variance in your gameplay too, because it allows you to do things that are not as expected or some shit like that. And by the way, you can tell when a gateway warps in a unit if you see it flash, and it goes like the gateway itself has like a flash on top of where the black and like turquoise orb is on the top of it. It like fucking does it. It flashes when you actually make a unit. And then obviously if you see units at the door, that's another sign too, right? Or like at the third base. Just kill and then supply blocking the Zerg is nice. Like there's no downside to not killing overlords. It's always a positive. So definitely just kill overlords. It's important. Like faster is what I mean. Oops. Okay. So you're killing them now. I wanted you to do a little earlier next time, but overall you did it, so I'm happy. Okay, voids are knocking out the lings. Now 100%. So here's how, generally speaking, you would want this to go. You would want your third base being defended by your Void Ray if the Zerg got aggressive. You'd pull it over there and defend it if it got aggressive. The Zerg also would not be killing an empty third. It would be fighting Adepts and Battery and Pylon just like it is. Okay? Now, if the Zerg player does not attack you, you should not actually give a shit that Zerg has Zerglings out here. This is actually wasting your time. If you turn these Void Rays to the left, and then to the right, and then to the left, you're wasting time. You're genuinely wasting time. That's what the Zerg wants you to do. If I was playing you, again, I'd be like, thank God this guy doesn't use Void Rays aggressively. I'm so greedy. I can do whatever I want. What you want to do is you want to accept the fact that your third base is going to be fine. Lings are not breaking that. Lings are not going to break this. You could easily warp in more Adepts behind that Stalker, and you could overcharge that battery. You could overcharge that battery. You could do a lot. Like your batteries are going to make your base really sustainable, while your Void Rays don't have to camp over the Zerglings. These Voids should be getting immediately across the map to the Zerg's base to stunt creep spread, kill Queens if possible, kill Overlords if possible, and kill drones if possible, in the order of drone first, Queen second, Overlord probably third. But if Queens are ever in numbers that are matching the Void Ray, don't fight the Queens. Just get the fuck out and kill Overlords and drones, because they can't fight back. But yeah, if you can kill drones and creep timbers, that's amazing. That's gonna just literally make the game more advantageous for you the entire time. So your Void's kind of like still sitting at your base at beyond 5 minutes at this point is weak for you, and now you're fighting Zerglings again. You gotta just go. Like if you turn around right now, get the fuck up there. North. No, not time to go south. North.
Glorious combat is upon us.
So yeah, you're missing a lot of opportunity with your Voids. No matter where those Lings attack you on the outsides of your base, it won't do anything. It will not break that. It will not break that. It won't do shit. So finally you're going north. This is pretty late though. You're chilling again. Okay, good. You didn't chill for very long. Now do whatever damage you can. Again, drones are a priority. Creep tumors are a priority. Overlords are nice to get. If you could just get them just like that, that's fine. Queens are good to kill. They're great to kill as long as you outnumber them. Do not ever, if there was like 3 queens here, you immediately don't fight that. You're going to just take whole damage. You're never going to kill the queen. And you're going to be like, well, my Voiders are now weaker in the future because they have permanent damage on them. You don't want that. The only, like, Queen Void Ray has like a weird balance where you don't actually want to fight equal numbers until you get to a certain point. And that certain point would be like, once you have so many Void Rays that it wouldn't matter if he transfuses, you would just penetrate the transfuse and kill him anyways. Which would probably be like 12 Void Rays. If you had 12 Voids versus like 12 Queens, and you attacked one Queen, that Queen, unless it's getting spam transfused by like 10 transfuses a second, it's gonna fucking die. It will never get the hot effect full duration. It'll just fucking die. So, if you're not at 12 Voids, you don't want to fight Queens. You just literally go, oh, he matches my number, or if he has more than you, get the fuck out of there. Leave. But if you have more than him, take the fight, pull back the Void Ray getting attacked, pick a Queen off, and then if you need to leave with the rest, you can leave. If your shields are all kind of low, you can, if you actually pick Queens off like that, that's actually huge. So we'll see what you get. You should stay. Kill that Queen right now. Do not kill a fucking spawning pool. Kill that Queen. You want to know why you want to kill the Queen? You want to know why Void Rays are imba against Queens? If you target that Queen right now, it can physically not run away fast enough before it will die. You will like latch onto it with an attack of a Void Ray, and it will die. The Queen will die trying to walk the direction away from your Void Ray. It will just die. So if you latched onto that Queen right now, it would die. Because there's only one Queen here. And there's also a Spore just now starting. So that Spore Crawler, that Queen is priority number 1 right now. Because it weakens the Zerg's defense next time you come back again. And as soon as you kill that Queen, every fucking drone that you can attack here that's compromised, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. That's what you should be doing. If you attack the spawning pool, it's a big waste of your time. Big waste of time right here. So think about it like this. Advantages and disadvantages for killing a spawning pool. Advantages are, you fuck up his tech. However, he's already got a layer. So that doesn't matter. Okay, what's another advantage? You prevent him from making Zerglings. But he doesn't need to make Zerglings right now because he can make drones. Because he's making Spore Crawlers which defend his drone line. So, or he has spores that can defend his drone line. Okay, so the larva will just go into drones. It's not a big deal. Okay, what's another advantage? Another advantage is you prevent him from making Queens and Static D. But if you're not going to attack anymore because you just took hull damage and you took a bunch of shield damage and you need to back out for a while to regenerate and you're going to like pull back for a little bit, you're not going to capitalize as much on your window to make that effective. So that would have made sense if, like, let's just say that was a Roach Warren and you were doing a Charge Lot all-in. Or like a Glaive Adept all-in. That would make a lot of sense. But it doesn't make sense when you're in the Harass phase and you commit your Harass to killing a spawning pool and that's it. And then not capitalizing on the downed defenses now. Like you basically just made his defenses go down for a little bit because he can't make Spores and he can't make Queens anymore. But you also took damage to do that, so now you have to recuperate and you have to like regroup yourself, which is going to give the Zerg time to rebuild up his defenses again. It's like the shields are back up, or like the Zerg's defenses are online again, and you're like, I'm ready to attack now, and it doesn't do anything. So essentially, you did 200 minerals worth of damage there. If you killed the Queen in one drone, that would have been more damage than killing a spawning pool, even though it's the same investment. Because realistically, it would have to be 250 because you have to sack a drone to build a pool. But you get the point. The reason why a Queen and a drone's more value than a spawning pool, even though they have the same kind of cost, is because if he loses the ability to inject and a creep spread, that's huge at developing the game going forward. Queens are incredibly important for Zerg to have mechanical like advantages against you. So if you can kill them, that's amazing. And then if you kill a drone, a drone's not just worth 50 minerals. It's worth a lot more than that because it mines the minerals the whole time. So if you killed the drone and you deleted it, it would not be mining anymore. And that would be worth, let's just say he rebuilt it immediately. That's 12 seconds of downtime where that drone doesn't exist until it's been replaced. So that drone realistically is worth 62 just by default. But let's just say Zerg is spending all of his larva and he's not actually trying to make like military units. That's just going to be one less drone that he has the entire time now, and it takes him longer to get to that final drone again. or 2 drones or 3 drones or however many drones you kill. It keeps him getting to that maxed out drone count that he wants, that many drones slower. So it's way more advantageous for you to kill drones and queens here. That attack, that priority of attack there did not really do a whole lot for you, because you're not even doing a timing with it. So you're not maximizing the whole point there, which is his defenses are down now. Can't make lings, can't make queens, can't make static D, but it doesn't matter because you can't do anything with it. Okay, so now your voids are grouping up. Definitely kill overlords. Make sure your probes are rallied properly. I don't know what's going on there. Nice. This is really bad by Zerg here. Don't put your D out so far. Pull that back a little bit. So, why? Okay, it's not random. Why am I telling you that this is bad? Vibe, why is this bad? Why would you say that that's bad? Because you're taking the convex to the concave right now. If you put your cannons against the nexus and batteries like against the gas or something, he takes the convex to your concave again. Like, you get a larger surface area while he comes into a choke point. But you're building in the choke point, and it's not with a wall. It's with isolated cannons that are spread out. These cannons are in a terrible location to defend. These are going to die super fast. You're giving him more surface area to kill it faster. Okay. You have double forge. A bit intense. You don't really need double forge, but we'll see. I mean, I think you're going to go shields. I mean, you could go armor, I guess, because you're going immortals now. You don't have an upgrade on the council yet. That's important to get that shit. I think you're going to go charge. It looks like you're going to go into charge the Archon Immortal behind this. You don't need armor. If you get shields, I'll allow it. I'll be like, that's okay. Because you have shield, battery, and cannon at bases, which will help you deal with run-bys better. But shields or armor upgrades against the Zerg, when you're going for a heavy zealot-based composition, either one of those is bad. Because you can't realistically do a whole lot with your army to, like, collapse on Zerg to make it worth it. Like, if Zerg only wanted to, he could kite you all day on creep and pick your zealots off, because your army is like a staggered movement speed kind of composition right now, or it will be once you have charge. So I don't know what the second forge is going to do, but I don't really like it a whole lot. It's too expensive for what you're doing. It doesn't make sense as much.
I return to
Okay, you got shields. So if you go into Skytoss later on, that would be the only way I would say that this kind of makes a little bit of sense. And you go in like Archon, Skytoss, Carrier, whatever, and you're just trying to make a little bit of Archon Immortal Zealot and eventually Templar to like control the early game. And it gives you a mineral dump that you can like throw around the bases. If that's your playstyle in a second here, I'm okay with it. It's not the worst. It's not like terrible. But if you're going to stick to ground for a while and you're going to start making like Colossus or something, or like Disruptors, I'm not a fan of this at all. Not at all. Because you're just slowing down your transitions by getting fucking shield upgrades that are awful on Zealots. The longer you stay on ground, the more that doesn't make sense. And if you got armor as well against Zerg, it doesn't make sense. Because if you run into Banes or Lurkers, or even Hydra Roach, it doesn't make any sense because they can kite you with Hydra Roach. They can AoE you down with Lurker Baneling. So armor upgrades against Zerg kind of suck if you're going to go for a Zealot-based composition. It's really good against Terran, but not good against Zerg. Fuck my nose.
I return to serve.
All right. I like that you're expanding a lot. That's good. I like that you're expanding.
Mineral field.
I don't like how passive you are, but I do like that you're expanding really fast. You could definitely be more aggressive with your voids.
I return.
Here's a tip. If you're like, Vibe, I know I should be more aggressive with my voids, but it's hard to not lose my void race. I just feel like it's difficult, and I want to just macro well. This would be my recommendation to you, if that's what your genuine statement would be on that front. Get an observer. Get an observer. Okay? And then pair that with your void rays and go kill creep. There's nothing you're doing with your voids anyways. You could absolutely kill creep and then fly over cliffs and shit and not die. And if you stall out Zerg's creep spread at all, that's fucking huge. It's so important. Like, creep spread is really, 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 really important for Zerg. And if you deny that, it makes your life so much easier as Protoss going forward in like the mid game. I ran into Vibes Law, white main no warrior. Yeah. Who the fuck is he? He's an imposter. The Zerg is bad. No, the Zerg's fine, honestly. The Zerg, it's fine. You guys are both just playing passive. Like, you guys are both missing opportunities on each other. That's just how players are. At lower levels. And this is, again, this is like 3,800 MMR, 3,900 MMR. This is like high diamond. Like mid to high diamond. Probably like diamond 2, maybe diamond 1.
Upgrade complete.
Okay. Now you should definitely be making your Templar. You have a lot of cannon battery. I like it. I like that you're setting up your base. But if you're going to set up your base like this, you really need Templar faster. And your gateways are off cooldown right now, and you're not really making units. So you definitely need to make more Templar faster, because the only way you don't die right now if the Zerg attacks you is if you have Storm and cannon battery. You totally can play like this, but you can't make it work unless when the Zerg shows up with a bunch of units, you have Storm on top of cannon battery. It's the only way this would work. Because this won't win if this Zerg player was like maxed out right now. It would not win. You need more Templar because you have so much gas for it anyways. You could have like another like 8 high Templars right now.
Research complete. Mineral field depleted.
You need to kill creep more. Like, here's a tip, okay? Here's a tip. The second you finished off this base, I don't mind it. It's all good. You know what you should do? You should get 1 or 2 observers. You should make a round of zealots. Like, we're not a lot, okay? We're talking 8 zealots. Just 8 zealots. Go left. Go around the perimeter of the map. Take your main army with an observer and kill creep. Just kill creep. And if the Zerg comes over here to defend your creep, you kill his expansion with zealots. Or take a second observer with your zealots, kill creep, kill creep, kill creep, get his attention on creep. And as soon as like you've committed to the creep over here for like maybe 10 seconds or like 8 seconds, maybe get ready to pull the observer and those zealots back and start killing creep on this side with your main army, with a second observer and your main army. Kill creep. The fact that you're not doing anything about this guy's creep is scary. You're too passive with creep. You definitely need to maximize your time more. You can't let you can't let Zerg have this much free time with creep. You cannot do that. The fact that he has creep at your third right now, if this guy had good macro, you would get punished by wave after wave after wave of shit in your face. And you might just break and die. I'm sure you probably have on ladder before. Because this is like, this can't happen. This is too early for the creep to be like this. For the Protoss. This is what, yeah, this is scary. So your composition kind of sucks right now. I'm not gonna lie. You're going Skytoss now. So your idea of shield battery, or sorry, of shield upgrades, it makes sense with your transitions and shit. But I'm gonna tell you something right now. Your adepts suck ass. Your sentries suck ass. Your zealots suck ass. Your immortals, not bad. Too many though. Probably like 4 is a good number to go for, or like around like 4 is good. I think 4 is like the magic sweet spot. Your void rays, they're okay. They're not bad. Your Templar, fucking amazing. Your Templars are your best unit in this composition right now. But your army is going to become, I would imagine, Immortal Archon, Templar, Carrier, Mothership, or something like that. And the reason why a couple Immortals would not be bad in this kind of an army is because if this guy decided to go for like Ultralisk to try to like snipe your Templar, those Immortals could actually pound the shit out of those Ultras and cover your Templar, which would be fine. But generally speaking, your composition right now is really not good. So what you'd want to do, like I said before, is you'd want to be kind of like maybe your first wave, instead of being 8 zealots, send 8 adepts. These adepts are actually awful at this point in the game now. Their moment has passed. Their moment in the sun is over. They're no longer good. They were only good when the only thing Zerg had was Zerglings. Now they're bad. So go kill some drones with your adepts. Do something else and make the Zerg play defensive while you also shove his creep back with your main army. Like, trickle off the crappy units and go, like, do whatever damage you can with them. But then don't replace them with the same units that just died. Make the new supply into better units. Like, lose adepts to make carriers. Lose adepts to make archons. Lose zealots. Zealots are the only one you can remake repeatedly and it's okay. And there's only one, there's a magic reason for that. It's because a zealot does not cost gas. So a zealot can be made over and over and over as a mineral dump that has a chance to kill your opponent's economy or his tech or just do some serious damage. And it's super fucking annoying, which is why zealot run-bys are really good. That's why Zergling run-bys are also really good. Because they're mineral-based units that can do a lot of damage to your opponent. So zealots would be okay if you kept remaking those, because they don't cost gas. They don't delay your Skytoss. But don't ever remake, like, Stalkers. Don't remake Adepts. Those units are no longer good in this game. But you should definitely be getting rid of them as well. If you keep those in your main army, all it does is it weakens your main army. Like, the amount of Adepts you have is about the same as 3 carriers worth of supply. I'd much rather have 3 carriers than 9 Adepts. You have 8, but you get the point. Like, this is pretty much really close. 9 Adepts is literally 3 carriers.
Mineral field depleted.
Yeah, man, you gotta kill creep. And notice how, just watch the Zerg, okay? I want you to watch something. Look at the mindset of your opponent. You're killing creep right now with your whole army in one spot. Watch how the Zerg moves to defend this. He's going to blob up on your one spot.
A creep tumor is under attack. Mutation. A creep tumor is under attack.
See how this is going right now? He's blobbing up hard. He's actually afraid of you because he's making broodlords. But here's what I'm trying to say. Imagine if you had like all your adepts over here right now, like behind the mineral line or something like that, or like they went behind the mineral line here and then they shaded to like right there, and they were like behind that mineral line. Or imagine if they like were killing creep over here, and then they shaded up to like the natural. Like, it's fucking exposed. Or imagine if you had a warp prism that flew up right here, and you warped in zealots constantly right there. There's nothing in the main, and all that tech is just juicy waiting to die. You need to set up a little bit more of multi-prong if you can. And it's okay if the units that you multi-prong with die, if the units that are dying are like not important. Like, don't multi-prong with 5 Archons. Don't warp in 10 Templar and make 5 Archons and go, let's fucking YOLO. But if you make like 10 zealots, that's totally fine. Who gives a fuck if they die? You might actually do a ton of damage in the process. Hi, Vibe. Yeah, what up, dude? Okay, anyways, let's go back to you now. The point I'm trying to make here is you could actually more safely kill creep than you are if you actually just misdirected Zerg by like multi-pronging a little bit. And if the Zerg doesn't react to the multi-prong and like all these things die where zealots are or some shit, you could do serious damage to him too. Serious fucking damage. Now behind this you need to be making carriers, and you are. Are you getting weapon upgrades for carriers? You are, but you're not chrono boosting. This right here is mandatory to chrono boost constantly. To be honest, the second you made that building right there, the second you made the fleet beacon, you should have paired that with +1 weapons. And then you should have as soon as you do that, as soon as you're like, yep, I'm going +1 weapons and I'm starting a fleet beacon, that never stops chrono boosting all the way to level 3. Your upgrades are so far behind what they should be right now for weapons for air. By the time you have your first round of carriers out of the Stargate, you should already be level 1 weapons with like level 2 weapons halfway done. And when your second round of carriers pop out of the Stargate, you should already be level 2 weapons with level 3 weapons starting. So that, like, let's just say you have 4 Stargates. By the time you have 8 carriers out of 4 Stargates, you should be level 2 weapons. Right now, you have 3 Stargates out of 3, or 3 carriers out of 3 Stargate, and you have level 0 weapons. You should at least be level 1 by now, and soon level 2. Like, when that carrier's done, you should be level 2 weapons already. You're not chrono boosting. You waited way too long for that, and you're also never chrono boosting it. That's not good. That's a mandatory chrono boost. Carriers, there we go. You're chrono boosting it now. Carriers are either really bad or really good based on your upgrades. Like, if your upgrades suck, they're bad. Like, carriers just don't perform. They tickle instead of perform. Now he's got Broodlords. The last thing in the world you should do right now is trade expensive supply that you want to rebuild while trying to take this fight. This is not an ideal fight. What you should do is send units around again. Same exact... Don't try to push through the broods with the depths and shit. Rotate them around. Because if you lose Archons and Templars right now, you're literally wasting your resources. You lost every Templar there. That was not a good fight to take. And you also just lost an Archon. You lost everything, but every important unit there died. You lost all your Voids. You lost every Templar. You lost all but 1 Archon. The only units that didn't die that are also decent are your Immortals. Wherever the fuck they are. Yeah, your Immortals, you had 6 Immortals, now 5 are left. To be honest, I would rather you have 4 Immortals anyways, but you lost all your good shit. And also, I think your base is kind of maybe cluttered too hard. I don't even know if your units can get out of this setup. They might be trapped. Like, some of them might be trapped right now. Yeah. I was to say, just kill a pylon if that happens. You did. It's fine. Okay. Weapons. Don't forget weapons. That's so important. You have a Dark Shrine. I love it.
Upgrade complete.
Kill those rocks. 100% you should kill those rocks right now. The fact that your Templars are doing this is unacceptable, because if Zerg right now came from here and just bombarded you, you would lose the game right now, because that's all of your AoE. That's risky. You're literally risking the game right now. And now you also have no retreat either. You can't just go retreat down here. You'd have to go over here through a bunch of creep, or you have to go all the way back around. And that makes your Templars now have a very low chance of escaping if the Zerg pushes you. So Zerg has level 1 Carapace, and you still have level 1 weapons. I want you to know that you can get weapon upgrades way earlier than Zerg can if you go Skytoss. Zerg can't upgrade shit until like by the time you probably have a fleet beacon, honestly. Because they don't make Aspire in the first like 3 minutes of the game. They make Aspire around like minute 6 or 7. Especially against like this kind of a build where you didn't even open up Skytoss right away. You opened up with a 3rd base. So if he opens up with a 3rd base, he's not rushing 2 base tech. Zerg works a little different. So the fact that the point I'm trying to make here is the fact that you have less upgrades on your air. He's got 3 upgrades already done. Carapace, double weapon. You have just level 1 weapons on air. Your core, your cyber core. I know you have level 3 shields already, but you have, which is dog shit. I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't do anything for your army realistically against Corruptor. Like Corruptor will penetrate that and no problem. But you have level 1 weapons. It's at 15 minutes. You should have level 3 weapons by like 12 minutes or 13 minutes. So your weapons are really far behind, and it's going to make Corruptors feel like they're really strong when they shouldn't feel like that. See how the Corruptors are just like winning the battle? That wouldn't happen if you had better weapon upgrades. You would have melted them if you were already level 3 versus level 1 armor. You would have melted that army, and you would have killed that base, and then you would still have your army left right now. That right there, I'm not going to lie, that right there was the moment, in my opinion, that you lost the game. Just now. That was a really bad fight, and the reason why that was a really bad fight is because you lost a shitload of gas right here. It's hard to replace gas when it's really expensive and with shit that dies. And then you just lost another really expensive gas army right there. You have no fucking gas now. The only way you come out ahead in this game at this point in time now is with a lot of Zealot run-bys that reset the Zerg to a point to where you have now made another gas-heavy army. You've traded your Zealots constantly into like eventually getting a maxed out Skytoss army again. And then you finally, after you break his economy, you win the next fight with your actual army. That's the only way you're going to win this game now. You have no bank to work with gas. You are fucking broke. And you're also mining out of your bases now. So if you start losing control of your side of the map, you're just dead. So this is now a scary moment in the game for you. These Zealots need to go attack, seriously. They need to go attack without your actual army going with them. They need to go do, like just do this. Grab your Zealots and go like this. A move, A move, A move, A move, A move. On the minimap. Don't click all over the screens and shit like that. Literally just take your Zealots. On the minimap, go, hit A. Your mouse is now a target button. Hold shift and go click, 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 click. Let it fucking go. Stop. Don't even worry about it. Whatever happens, happens. Who fucking cares? And then at the same time, then you can move out and push creep. Because the Zerg now, you're not even microing Zealots, but they're microing themselves with AI. And they're beating ass unless Zerg is like prepared there. And a lot of times they can even break a Zerg who is prepared with like spines and shit. Like these things are going to shred shit. But standing there is not good. What's your economy? Your economy's fine. Okay, you're doing it. I love it. You should not commit, though. Do not. The second you see where his army is, back the fuck out of there. You should not be committing with this. This is not a maxed out army. That right there is a lot of your supply, and that right there is a lot of your supply. You're still in the process of making army, and you have a fuckload of Zealots. This is not the time to push Zerg's army with your main army. Your army is like half as strong as it should be right now. It's not ready to push. Distracting Zerg with it is fine. Pushing Zerg with it is bad because this might do damage now if you get Zerg's attention over here. But if you lose this, you lose the game again because you reset your gas again. You need to get the fuck out right now. Okay, that wasn't that bad. And now look at your zealots. They're owning. So I'm really glad you got out. You risked it a little hard there. You really need to kill those fucking rocks, dude. This is fucking you repeatedly. Like, those units could just die right now. Kill those rocks. But your zealots are doing an amazing job. Amazing job. These zealots have already paid for themselves. They've killed drones, disrupted an entire mineral line, killed spines, and they're killing a bunch of mineral investments of static D right now. And they might kill the hatchery. And they might even kill an infestor. Like, these have absolutely paid for themselves. And your gas is also buying you time to get more gas. So when they die, you can make more carriers and more archons and whatever the fuck you want to have.
We embrace the glory of battle. My light for hire. My light for hire.
You really need to kill the rocks. The fact that your air goes into the fight first before your ground can even support it. Again, if this guy knew how to use Vipers, you would be dead. You can't play like that. That's so risky. You have to, like, be a little bit more... And you killed the hatchery. Your Zealots owned. Zealots did an amazing job. But yeah, you need to kill the rocks, man. Like, your Archon walked around in Zerg territory. It's just like asking to take damage. And now you're doing Zealot run by. I love it. So now look what just happened. Zerg is showing you something. You want to know what Zerg is showing you? He's prioritizing the left side of the map with his army. And his army is Broodlord based. You know what you should do? Push the left side with your army and push the right side with Zealots. You should do one more, I would say you should do one more Zealot run by right now. Right on the right side. To like maybe get his attention on the right side with some of his units. And then as soon as those die, push the left side, max out on your carrier, and then as soon as things start to die, quickly make another warp in and hit the right side one more time again while the fight's going on here. Like if you drop like 30 supply, 15 zealots, go attack towards the main base. And then keep fighting this army right here on the left side. That would be amazing. You would break his ass so hard if you did that. Again, when you do eventually do your actual push, you don't want to have a bunch of supply in counterattacks and then a little bit of supply in your main army. When you do your actual, like, I'm going to fucking slam through you push, you want to have, like, all supply in your push with a death ball. And then as soon as some of it starts to die, rotate some of it back into quick counterattacks and then start remaking your army for what dies. Your zealots are definitely doing a lot of damage. You just killed a queen. That's really good. Also, I would say maybe get rid of the immortals. Why get rid of the immortals? This guy's going for fucking broodlords. He's not going ultras. So this is 12 supply, which is 2 carriers. More you could have in your army. And I would personally rather have 2 more carriers instead of 3 immortals versus a broodlord based player.
Mineral field depleted.
Okay, so you're being annoying again over here. This is really good. And now you're pushing this side. This is good. You don't have a lot of supply invested in here. You're maxed out, and you're pushing with your main army on the left side. I like it. You need to push, though, before his corruptors group up with his army. Or his broodlords are actually over there now, so he's out of position. Fucking kill a base. Now. Go kill a base. Don't wait. Kill a base. Good shit. Now, he's over the cliff. So what you should probably do is don't just fucking A-move concave and go, oh, because what you're doing right now is you're concaving in a way that's like this. Like this is the Zerg's base, and this is your army. And Zerg's army is actually right here, and it's picking at you like that. Don't do that. If this is how the Zerg is going to play, take your fucking line that's right here and condense that shit like that. Make your own fucking ball right there. So grab your carriers and move them to like right here, away from the cliff and like together. And then if Zerg tries to push you with Vipers and shit, feedback them. Storm also. Like storming in the middle of that right now is so huge. You kind of missed that storm a little bit. A little bit. This storm is a big miss. So A lot of people make this mistake. A lot of people fucking make this mistake. Did you know that this carrier, I'm clicking on right there. This carrier is not actually right there. It's not actually right there. You want to know where this carrier is? It's not even that big, by the way. It's right there. That's where the carrier is. Everything is based off of the grid on the ground. There is no Z-axis in StarCraft. There's an X. There's X and Y. Imagine a piece of fucking graph paper on the table. There's X on the bottom that goes left to right, and there's a Y-axis that goes from top to bottom. Like from the top of the graph paper to the bottom of the graph paper. But it's flat on a table. It's not three-dimensional with a Z-axis. So you storming an actual carrier doesn't actually hit the carrier because it's like this. With paint again. The carrier is not, we're not looking at StarCraft 2 like if the carrier is right here, that's exactly where the carrier is. No, the carrier is literally right there at that little circle. That's where the carrier is. And the reason why that is because in StarCraft 2, if this is the fucking terrain right here, okay? If that's the terrain in StarCraft 2, we don't look at it like that. From top to bottom. We look at it like that. At like a 45-degree angle. So, that's why if I turn my camera like that, it's gonna, like, shift my perspective, right? If it was straight top to bottom, my perspective wouldn't change at all. All that would happen is the carrier would do circles. You know what I mean? The carrier is literally changing its location on my monitor. And now it's right there. Now if I leave my mouse where it is, suddenly the carrier's not on my mouse anymore. It's way the fuck over there. And why is that? Because it's turning the fucking line. Like instead of the line looking there, it's looking here now. It's not looking here and just doing a spin. So that's not like you go storm, click Broodlord. You're literally storming behind the graphic of the Broodlord, but you're not storming where the Broodlords are. The Broodlords are right there. That's all you gotta know. I don't get it. Just fucking the circles on the ground are where the units are. That's all you gotta understand. There's a visual indicator of it. And people don't fucking understand that. A lot of people think that the unit itself is where it is. And it's not, because you're looking at it at a 45-degree angle and everything is based off of the ground, not the air. It's not based off the Z-axis. There's no Z-axis in this fucking game. There is not one. It seems like there's one because there's flying units, but there is no Z-axis. Because the flying units have ground indicators. That's all it is. So next time when you want to cast a spell on units that are flying, aim for the circle on the ground underneath them, not at the unit. Because if I storm the carrier right now, it will storm the ground right there. That is not where the carrier is. It'll because again, like, if the carrier, if I storm like on the carrier, it's gonna storm like fucking back here, not there on the fucking unit's spot. So just literally aim for the circle. That's all you gotta know. If you don't understand anything about what I'm saying, aim for the circle. It's as simple as that. That is actually where the carrier is. It has nothing to do with anything else. It's just right there. So like that fucking storm whiffed every Broodlord but one Broodlord. And the only reason why I hit one Broodlord is because it's barely touching that circle right there. The bottom of your storm is hitting that circle, which is affecting that one Broodlord. But every single other Broodlord that is actually like sitting in the storm right now graphically is not being hit by it because that Broodlord is not there. It's there. See that circle right there? That's where that Broodlord inside the storm right now is actually at. It's fucking south of the storm. Yeah, you need to group your army up, man. Like, just A-moving and letting your carriers, like, kill a gas and kill a hatchery while the other half of your carriers are getting abducted and killed by Corruptor. That is some fucking lazy shit. You gotta definitely group them up a little bit. All you have to do to win this fight, all you have to do is storm the corruptors like 2 times. And would you storm right there? Fuck no, you would not storm right there. You would storm right here. Why would you storm right there? It's where all the circles are on the ground. It's just always a little bit under the unit because it's based off of the ground and not off of the air. So if you stormed like right there, you would hit all of the corruptors pretty much. And then it would do damage so fucking fast to corruptors that your carriers would just melt through whatever's left over. And it takes like 2 fucking storms, not full duration either, just like a little bit of damage off of 2 storms, and all the corruptors are suddenly like yellow health or like orange, and then they just melt to carrier damage. And you would, if you kill the corruptor, this guy has so many fucking broods and vipers that you would easily win the fight. Not enough corruptor supply. Now, here's a fun tip. So this is advanced. I don't expect you to do this, but let me tell you what he just did to you. He just parasitic bombed your carrier, and your carriers are going to A-move whatever they feel is hostile, and that's going to be a corruptor. And he flew right into your fucking carrier with his corruptor. What you should do right now is you should actually be right-clicking or A-moving the Broodlord. You should send your interceptors from the corruptor right now to the Broodlord. And the reason why you should do that is because there's a debuff on the carrier that is going to kill all your fucking interceptors right now. It does damage. It does 120 damage over 7 seconds, and an interceptor only has 80 hit points overall. So it's going to die. And it will kill all of them because it's AoE. So you're about to watch a bunch of your interceptors explode in a second here if you don't fucking get them out of there, and you can make them leave by having them kill a Broodlord right now. And then as soon as the debuff is over, you go back to killing Corruptor. It's advanced. That's not diamond level, but that is why you're about to lose a bunch of fucking interceptors. Like watch the load, the payload or whatever of the carriers right now. It's gonna go, and a lot of them are gonna die in a second here. Actually, the parasitic bomb didn't quite kill them, so they're low as fuck. Apparently he got in the parasitic bomb a little bit late, because they're not dead. But I guarantee if you could click, you can't actually click interceptors, by the way, but they're all probably low as shit, and if he does it again, they're gonna die. But he can't, so it's fine. Got a little bit lucky there. And there's more parasitic bombs he could have thrown at you. So you just threw away another gas army. You microed that, like you basically didn't micro that at all. And if the Zerg player does shit like this, where he like super defends the front of his base, make a warp prism and go along the side, and go to the main. There's nothing here. Warp in like 12 zealots right there. Just wipe out the fucking tech in the main base. Having your zealots fight broodlings this is becoming really shitty for you. You're just literally throwing money in the trash can right now. You're not actually doing any damage anymore. So stop throwing zealots into a meat grinder if this is how it's gonna go. If he's got broodlords camping, and just micro your army a little bit next time. You definitely threw your army in the trash. Yeah, stop sending zealots and the broodlords at this point. It's really bad. Don't send your carriers forward. This is bad. Stop sending parts of a death ball to go die. You didn't do it. So you've only had one fight so far that was good. In terms of, and it wasn't microed. It turned out bad, which was the one that just happened. But the way you set it up was good. You actually had a real army. Pushing with this, all I'm going to watch you do in a second here is get abducted by Vipers and watch 4 carriers die in a second. If you go any further forward than you are. This is already still scary. If the Zerg was active at all, you should be dying right now. You're like on the edge of your base. And you're not even trying to defend a base here. And there comes the abducts. Yeah, stop pushing with parts of your army. Like, wait for an actual army. I like the idea of counterattacking him, but I fucking hate the fact that you keep attacking into broodlords. Make a warp prism and go into the main base and do the same exact thing you just did. Like, you're just getting destroyed by Broodlords right now. Every time you do that on the outsides of his base. The idea is good, but you need to, like, recognize the pattern. And the pattern is he's using Broodlords now to defend himself, so stop suiciding into Broodlords. Because Zealots can't kill Broods. They're flying units. And they keep making your Zealots stand in place because they keep spawning Broodlings on them. So your Zealots just stand there and die slowly. Now, again, right here, get the fuck back. Back up. The only reason why you should ever be this close to his army is because you're target firing Broodlords right now. If you're target firing Broodlords so that your Templars could walk forward without getting sniped by Broodlords, that would be okay. But if you're not target firing and just A-moving, you need to learn some priority of micro. Because this is going to throw you the game again. You have two ways to beat this army. Two ways. Number one, you kill the Broodlords if the Corruptor and Viper are ever out of position, so that then the Archon and Templar can push forward without getting sniped by Broodlords. Or you play back a bit, you bait the Zerg forward into you, and when Zerg tries to engage into you, you clump up your carrier, you focus fire, like you don't focus fire, you just try to kill Corruptor, and you storm the shit out of the Corruptor. Once you kill the Corruptor, nothing is guarding the Broodlords anymore. You can pull the Templar back a little bit and finish off all the Corruptor with no Corruptor, and finish off all the Broodlord with no Corruptor in the vicinity because they're dead already. And then once the Broodlords are dead, you can regroup your carriers with your Archons and your Templar, and then you're fine. But the way you're doing it, you're just A-moving. Your Broodlords are dying. The Broodlords are killing your Templar because they're not doing shit. And you're getting abducted while you A-move into, like, spore crawlers. You're literally attacking a spore because you're just A-moving it. And you're storming Broodlords. And all your Templars are dying for that. And now all you need is like 2 storms. Just like 2 storms on these fucking Corruptor. And now remember what I said a second ago? He's parasitic bombing your carrier, and if you now target fire the Corruptor, all of your interceptors are going to die again. And he's got so many... Like, see how your carriers are empty? Empty, empty, empty. They all just died to parasitic bomb. All the interceptors are dead to parasitic bomb. Not to mention... You're going to die either way, because there's too many Corruptors left over. This is a lot. The only way you beat this is with Storm. Storm damage is really what kills Corruptors, not Carrier. Carrier clean up the rest. Carriers are like, basically, if you're fighting like a Corruptor army, imagine if you had like a fucking sledgehammer, okay? And you like smash through the fucking brick wall with a sledgehammer, and it just like destroys the fucking wall. It's like bricks start falling on the ground or something like that, and they're all over the place, and you just destroyed the wall. That's... Or like a truck drives through the fucking brick wall. That's what Storm and Archon do to Corruptor. They just like punch a hole through the fucking middle of it all. And there's like some remnants on the sides. And then that's what... Carriers clean up the remnant. Carriers do not punch a hole through Corruptor at all. They just fucking clean up the rest. You need to fucking actually use Storm and Archon to kill Corruptor. And you need to make that your priority if that's going to be how you want to fight this. You can't storm Broodlords, lose all your Templar, and then back up and then start storming Corruptor. That doesn't make any fucking sense. You're going to die. Because you don't have enough Storm now. All your fucking Archons are dead. And your Templars are dead. You have one fucking Templar that needs to hit the world's best Storm right now. And you're still dead either way because you're starting to storm after all your carriers are dead. You just need to learn priority of what you're going for. So again, like I said, the way you beat this army was the 2 ways I already recommended here earlier. You either kill Broodlords and you keep your Templars protected, or you drag him forward away from Broodlords and storm the Corruptor, and then when Corruptors are really low and dying, then you shove forward, then you kill the Corruptor, and then you kill undefended Broodlord. One of those 2 ways needs to happen. You can't do any other way. If you just go, I'm just going to A-move in the fucking face of him, and my carriers are going to target his Corruptor because they're just in my face, but I can't storm anything. I can only throw 1 storm at Broodlord because Broodlord are killing all my Templar, because the carriers are going to ignore the Broodlord because they're ground focusing units. Your carrier's AI is going to go attack the air. I can attack back. They're going to attack Corruptors by default. So your Corruptors, his Corruptors and your Broodlord, his Corruptors and your carriers are battling, which is good for Zerg. And his Broodlords and your High Templar are battling, which is good for Zerg. You're literally letting Zerg win this fight. But if you ever made the carrier kill the Broodlord or the Templar kill the Corruptor, you would be having a good Protoss fight. But you're not doing either one of those things until it's too fucking late and you're dead anyways. And once again, that is another dead army for Protoss. You're throwing so much resources away. And you're doing the same thing again into Broodlords over here. The idea is there, but you got to take it to the next level and use a Warp Prism. Because this is never going to break. Broodlords are infinity broodling. The only thing you got going for you this game is that you have the middle of the map with both expansions, and you already mined one of them out. That is actually Zerg's base. This is actually Zerg's base. This could win you the game because you're mining all these resources are resources that Zerg should get to match you. And now if you get this instead, you get both of them. Now this is suddenly not a game of like 6 bases versus 6 bases. This is now a game of 8 bases versus 4. Which is a massive fuck up for Zerg here if he lets you have this base. That's way more money than you should have. Or, yeah, you get the point, right? It's not actually, it's 6-6, or it's like, no, it actually, yeah, what am I talking about? Because this would be the middle of the map, and this is the middle of the map. Like, it's not even anymore. Because there's actually, what is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 bases. So it's supposed to be 8 bases versus 8 bases. But now Zerg only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you have 9. So yeah, you have, it just goes up and down 1, right? Instead of 16 being split 8, 8, it's now 7, 9. So you have 2 more bases than he does. The 8, 4 one I gave was not correct, but yeah. This is money that Zerg needs. But you gotta micro your shit, dude. You're gonna die again if you don't. The same way you've been dying. Now this would not be a bad time to make a couple immortals. Because he's making ultras. The fact that you saw that with your Zealot is nice. 4 immortals and like 5 Archons would destroy this with Templar and Carrier. Also, make a Mothership, dude. Mothership creates such a big problem for people to deal with because it makes the army way harder to engage. Stop. You're okay. These are fine, but yeah, I really would love you to use a Prism, man. I mean, you are annoying this guy, but the amount of Zealots you keep throwing into like Broodlords is so crazy. Like it's becoming wasteful. But you are holding this base. This base is the most important thing in this game right now. Now, don't fucking engage this. Right now, again, you're about to throw the game again. You're literally throwing... If I was sitting next to you, I'd be like, back Back the fuck up right now. Back up, back up. Back the fuck up now. Get out of there. Back up. You're going to lose a gas and like 3 cannons. Get the fuck. It's 3 broodlords. Back up. Your base isn't going to die in 2 seconds. Holy fuck. If you lose these carriers, though, the game's over. How many Templars do you have? 0. You need to make Templar right now. And you don't need to make 30 of them. But you do need at least enough Templar to just storm the fucking Corruptors like 2 times. Just like 2 storms. Get a couple Templar. For the love of God, do not fight this without Templar. If you do, you're dead. If you fight this right now, you lose the game right now. That's 2 carriers dead. For nothing. That's another 500 gas in the fucking trash. That's also kind of a fuck up there for you, not having that gas.
Base is under attack.
This base does not matter right now. Like it's kind of nice if you can keep that terrain as a controlling point, but this is also not the time to push. It's like this is important to defend this base. It's important to defend that base right here. You don't want to lose this. You don't want him to drag you over here, then suddenly he just kills this base. You want to guard this and make Templar. And for the love of God, if you had a Prism going with Zealots, you could actually use your minerals in an effective way. You're going to push right now and get poked by and killed by a Corruptor. You have 0 Templar. You have 0 Templar still. Bro, if you just right-click, 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 3 Broodlords. There are 3 Broodlords here. There are 0 units that can attack ground in this fight except for 3 Broodlords. You could kill 3 Broodlords in about 1 second with this many carriers. If you had Templar with your carrier and mothership, and he has 3 Broodlords, you kill those 3 Broodlords, and then you can literally walk wherever the fuck you want and storm his Corruptor. You're just not identifying that that is a thing that needs to happen. There's actually 4 Broodlords. But yeah. These Corruptors are awful versus Archon and Storm. They're amazing versus Carrier. And you keep playing the game of going, I'm going to beat Corruptor with Carrier. It doesn't work like that. Protosses don't kill Corruptors with Carriers in air battles. They don't kill Corruptor with Carrier. That does not happen like that. The only reason why sometimes when you watch good Protoss players kill Corruptor with Carrier is because you watch the Carrier clean up the Corruptor. Again, you got to get that fucking truck that just plows through the fucking wall, smashes through the center of like the majority of the Corruptor, and then the carriers look like they're killing the Corruptor. But they're not. They're just cleaning up what's left over. Oh yeah. Yeah, you gotta get the fucking Kool-Aid guy in your team right now. Break through the center of all of those Corruptor. That's way too many Corruptor to expect 10 carriers to beat that. This fucking guy has 39 Corruptors. You will not beat that with 10 carrier. But if you had, like, let's say you had 5 High Templars here, and let's say you had 4 Archons. These Corruptors, every time they try to engage and get 1 focus fire off, they're just eating Storm, Storm, Storm. 4 Storms go by, and they're all red. And like one Archon attacks one time and like 12 Corruptors die because it gets AoE'd and they're like just like shit raining from the sky. And then suddenly the carriers then are going pop, 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 pop. It's like a Bloons TD match at that point where it's just like pop, 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 pop. Like things are popping everywhere because all the Corruptors have like one shot dead. But that's not what it is right now. They're all fucking strong as hell right now. This is way too much health to chew through here. It's too much. Again, you have nothing to guard the Broodlord. Sorry, you have nothing to guard the carrier, and you actually just killed the Broodlord because the Zerg backed up so far. If only you had some fucking Templar here. This guy has nothing to protect the Corruptor from Archon and Templar. Zero now. But you just take the fight going, I hope carriers are going to win. Carriers are fucking good, but they're not that good. They don't just A-move the hard count. This is basically like saying, I have a piece of paper, and you have a brand new sharp-ass pair of scissors. You know what? I'm going to keep putting that piece of paper into that fucking pair of scissors. And let's see what happens. It's never going to work. The only way that would work is if you had more supply than what you're supposed to have. Like, one piece of paper loses to one pair of scissors. But if you had, let's say you had 2,000 supply of carriers, which is like a fucking phone book, suddenly the scissors are like, oh, shit, I can't cut that anymore. But we have a supply limit in this game, which is 200. So it doesn't work that way. You have to make a counter to your counter. You can't just go, paper, fucking go to scissors. And then scissors go, paper again. You gotta fucking pick a counter. You can't just fucking keep picking the anti-counter and expect it to work. So anyway, you actually had a really close game this game. You almost had it, but your problem is you just don't respect the concept of Archon Templar actually fight Corruptor and Carrier fight everything else. They don't actually fight Corruptor. They clean up Corruptor when the Corruptor have just been fucking yeah. That's when Carrier fight Corruptor, not before. If you fight Corruptor before oh yeah, it's gonna be, oh no, the wall didn't break. Oh, we're fucking, oh shit. It's gonna be, you know how he breaks through the wall and he goes, oh yeah? Imagine if the Kool-Aid guy jumped at the wall and the fucking glass that he's in shattered and all of his Kool-Aid went on the ground and the wall still sat there. That's what would happen essentially. That's what's happening to you in this game. Oh, just fucking all on the ground. No brick wall breaking today because you're not using your Templar and your Archon. Oh, fuck! Yeah, that's what it is. And now you're just dead. You've lost the game. You don't have enough gas to recover. I mean, you could win the game if you actually had a prism right now. I'm not going to lie. You could win the game with a prism. But you'd never have used one the entire game, and I don't think you're going to start now. And you keep just making carrier. You're just not even trying. Oh, there we go. Okay. You actually have a chance. You have a chance. Group the fuck up. Storm the Corruptor. You could win. Storm. You stormed high. That is not where the Corruptors are. That is where the Corruptors are. That is actually something you should like. Everybody should take away from this game. If you didn't know that, like here, some parts of by the way, guys, some parts of terrain in this game are multi-level layered differences. Okay. Now I want you to look at something really crazy. Do you see that fucking Viper right there? And you see how that's Viper circle right there? It's not that far away from the Viper. You could probably hit that Viper if you stormed right on top of it. But you want to see something really crazy? When you get to multi-layered levels of difference of terrain, Look at that fucking interceptor right there. And its circle is like there. It's like that much of a fucking difference. You can tell by the line that goes down the wall. See that fucking interceptor right there? Its line goes all the way down into like right there under the observer. See that interceptor? Its circle's right there. See the interceptor right next to it? Multi-layered terrain. Suddenly you'd have to storm right there. Because again, we're not storming the air units. We're storming the grid on the ground. And the terrain on the ground just shifted. And now suddenly, this unit is now there, not there. Up here. So if you want to hit interceptors right here, you'd have to storm right in the middle, not fucking way up here. You have to hit the circles on the ground. Because there is no Z-axis. And that's like the only way you beat Corruptor is with Storm. It's the only way you beat Corruptor is with Storm. So if that doesn't land, you're dead. You're just fucking dead if the Storm is off. So it is what it is. From now on, if you storm the Corruptors properly, you'll have such better success. And as long as you respect the battle, which is, this is supposed to fight you as a player, as a Protoss player, you want to fight Corruptor with Caster, and you want to fight everything else with Carrier. You want to fight Hydras with Carrier. You want to fight Roaches. You want to fight Mutas. You want to fight fucking Broodlords. You want to fight Zerglings, Banelings, Ravagers. It doesn't fucking matter what it is. You fight everything Zerg has with Carrier except Corruptor. Corruptor need to be respected until they get stormed or hit by Archons. Otherwise, you will lose as a Protoss player. These units literally don't fucking die to auto attacks unless they're like already about to die. Can you go Voids instead here? Void Rays would suck dick because this guy is using a lot of Parasitic Bomb. So Void Rays would suck. They would not perform very well. They would just die. AoE is a hard counter to Void Ray. And he also has, this guy also has Infestors, believe it or not. I don't know where the fuck they are, but this guy has been using Infestors as well. So if he has Fungal Growth plus Parasitic Bomb, all your Voids are dead. Like instantly. They're just going to die. But if you don't respect Corruptor with only countering it with anti-air, AoE, Archon, Storm, if you don't do that, Corruptor's going to kill you every fucking time. Every time. They're going to just rip your head off. And then you're dead. But as soon as the Corruptors are low, then Carriers beat them again. So everything in this game that I said earlier does make sense. Like there's nothing I said in this game that is not relevant. Like everything about your build, about chrono boosting your upgrades, that's all relevant. Definitely try to do that for yourself in the future. But I'm not going to lie, you absolutely out-macroed this guy. 100% you out-macroed this guy. But this guy obliterated you in the micro battles. And now, in the future, if now that you understand how the micro works for Protoss here, hopefully this helps you in the future. The only other thing I would say that you absolutely need to do that you weren't really doing this game is make it Mothership while you now try to perform your micro tasks. Because it'll only make it harder for Zerg to combat that and like actually like not fuck it up where he's like, oh shit, I got stormed. I can't even see the Templar. Fuck. Like it'll just make it easier to land what you need to do. Mothership makes the battle so much more confusing for Zerg. It really does. It's really annoying fighting a Mothership plus Skytoss. And then yeah, be ready if you have your army against Zerg's base. If you're like if your army's right here and Zerg's creep is right there, don't fucking have your Templars way in the back going, I don't know. No, Zerg's gonna react to that and he's gonna try to abduct things and he's gonna try to kill things. So have your Templars ready to fucking go when the battle's gonna start. Don't ever have your Templars like way the fuck in the back, being like, well, I'll just let half my air die before I start using Templar. So that doesn't work very well. Definitely have your Templar like ready to fucking go. Like, the second he comes in, you're fucking feedbacking and you're storming. And Zerg is like, ah, shit. That was bad. Back up. That's the only way you're going to win. Also, don't be my chat. Oh wow! By the way, good overall, good job. By the way, you did a pretty good job. There's a couple things you could fix this game that would make you a way scarier Protoss, and I could literally see you getting like 4,500 just playing like that, like legit. You 100% out macroed this guy, and that is really important that you were able to do that. But like, don't get on his ass too much, guys. I mean, it is a replay, right? He's not hearing me play this while he's playing. The fact that he didn't use a prism, it's just an idea for next time. But it would have done so much fucking damage if he did. And the whole micro thing of like how he microed Storm and stuff, an idea for next time. Understanding these things, if you think about it in the moment, once you're like actually actively thinking about things like that, when you're in a position like this, you're going to be like, holy fuck, I'm just ripping this guy apart now. This feels way better. So next time, definitely think about that, things like that. Try to execute those things. But overall, you actually did a really good job. You 100% out macroed this guy. And if you just took one good fight out of the entire game, you would have won. But it only because you took bad fight after bad fight after bad fight is why you lost. But the fact that you out macroed him is really, really good. So good shit. Keep that up. Fix your micro. Fix your decision making a little bit like we talked about. And only success for you in the future. Anyways, that's all for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed that long replay analysis. But I will see you guys in the next one of whatever it is. Much love. Take it easy. And peace. Later, guys.